Alright, hey everybody. I want to do a quick video and talk about some folio cases which I got on AliExpress. No one seems to be talking about them. I think there's a lot of interesting things about them, and but they all have their pros and cons. So let's talk about this a little bit. Now, it seems to me that looking at all the posts of people who have had issues with their phone, that uh, it's always been about the hinge. Either they drop it on the hinge and it breaks, or there's just a failure, in the middle. And I am guessing it is because of about dust or something getting in through the hinge. When I got my phone, I put on the stock case, and it was just gathering a tremendous amount of lint around the hinge, and it just made me very, very nervous about it. I don't know if that's why people are having failures. I'm sure there's various reasons, but certainly that is not helping the situation at all. So I've always wanted a case that had decent hinge protection to it, and unfortunately, there just really haven't been many. Um, I did a review of this case already, and so I'm not going to go do a deep dive on it. But I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Just the standard two-piece hinge case, and it has one side of it has this metal flappy thing that covers a hinge. One of my issues with this is when you put this in your pocket, it can just get pushed open, knocked open by your wallet next to it, or your keys next to it, or whatever, and you would still have dust and stuff getting on the inside, which I wasn't a big fan of. The second thing I don't like is that if you open the case, okay, to use it as a selfie cam, then you will see that, okay, now you can't see, the hinge here covers up part of the screen, and that's kind of annoying. Actually, it's a decent amount compared. There's a number pad, so you can see there's a whole section here that you can't see now. So that's a bit unfortunate too. Luckily, the stock camera doesn't really have controls in that section, but it's annoying just in terms of framing and stuff. Now, there have been folio cases for this phone, just like all phones do. Now, the biggest issue with folio cases, well, is that I'm going to pause and switch cases. Okay, I've now switched to the Duxis, D-U-X-I-S, Brill case, B-R-I-L. So with the folio case, you just have this leather thing that just kind of wraps around the phone, right? And that's nice because on this end, there's no cracks. There's no way for you to scrape dust in to the flap like you would with the other one. Now, the problem is, of course, if you open the flap like you would, you're going to cover up the main camera. Now, if you're just using a front screen, this is the way to go, and you're going to hold like this. But of course, as soon as you want to use the main camera as a selfie cam, well, that's not going to work too well because you're covering the camera, and you can't really do this. You can kind of do this if it's not wide angle, but it's not practical. So I've never really considered folio cases because the ability to use the main cameras as a selfie cam is a huge advantage because the front camera it's not that great. But I became aware semi-recently that some of the cases for the Oneplus Open have an additional bend point. So what that means is you can bend. You don't just have this part is not just completely attached to the phone, and you can only do that. Okay, there's actually another bend point, so you can do this, which means you can do this, which means that when you use the camera, boom, you're not blocking the lens anymore, and that's great. And you have a nice thing to grab onto, like so, and you have a nice secure hold on it. Now, this case caught my eye because the bend point is not in the middle. Okay, it's on the end, which means it kind of sticks out a bit like this. Okay, and the reason that caught my eye is because I really liked my Love Handle Pro when I had it stuck in my other case. And in theory, okay, you could stick that to the back of the case here. So when it's closed, this doesn't work very well with the black case. I have to kind of angle it. It's stuck here, and you can use this when the phone is closed and you have a kickstand. Okay, and then if you open it in tablet mode, or even see, I guess you wouldn't. I guess my yeah, I guess you really, it's not that useful actually. It's less useful than I thought it would be. I guess the point is when it's open, it's not in the way. That was kind of my idea with it. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the half hinge, but you are able to unfold this for selfie mode, and this hinge, the Love Handle Pro, will not be in the way. However, the things I don't like about this case, first of all, the fact that it doesn't bend in half, it bends all the way out here, means there is a lot of lump here when you have it open, and I'm not a big fan of that. And it only has one credit card slot. Okay, and actually after using this, I really liked it, and I was like, if it only had a few more credit card slots, that'd be great. Also, this has the same kind of cover as this one does, where it sort of has the 3-hole cutouts for each lens. And what I found is lint really got carved in to these holes, and you'd pull out the camera and there'd be lint in it. It's like you gotta clean it somehow, you gotta dig it out somehow. It's just a pain in the ass. And that was my number one thing I hated about the Hinge case. I think this one's a little deeper too. But yeah, you pull it out to use the camera and you can't see anything because it's just full of lint. And it's very strange because I never had lint issues with any other camera, but for some reason these it's just sucking up the lint. Another interesting thing is, like, this is very thin on this end, and I find it actually kind of hard. Like, the magnet is pretty strong, so it doesn't flap open, but I actually have a hard time opening it. This one, sorry, this flap. You know, finally you can dig it open, but what I would do actually is I would kind of push it up a little bit. I'm exaggerating here, but I push it up a bit and then open it like that. So it'd be like kind of a two-handed thing where I'd push it up a little bit and then I use my second finger to open it. Another thing that became pretty obvious is that if you drop the camera, right, say this side down, this flap is going to get pushed up and your phone is going to hit the ground or whatever it is. So it doesn't supply great protection for this side or even any of the sides, to be honest with you. Now, the case itself has, you can see there's a clear half case, which the flap is attached to. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm using the other half of this case. I've left it on my phone, so I have this kind of mismatched green clear action going here. But at least it means if I drop my phone and bump my phone, that it will hit that case and not the clear TPU case. And that's a nice thing about these two-piece cases is you can mix and match them as you see fit. And this actually works out pretty well. I've having the two-tone is actually it's not too bad. So I've stuck with it. So overall, I liked it. It's okay. I just didn't like the opening part, and I wanted more credit card slots. Also, they say you can use this as a kickstand. It's not great. It's kind of dodgy. I guess they say you go like this, and it leans back, or you're supposed to do this, and it sort of stays up. It's not great. And you could put a kickstand on the back, but as you saw a second ago with the Love Handle Pro, it gets weird when you unfold it, because like if you put it, like let's say you put it here on the back where you normally would, and you unfold, I guess it's just going to be in the way. I don't know. It's kind of strange. I'm not sure where a good place to put the kickstand would be. I even thought about putting like a strap here, where you could kind of like what's the name of it? But there's it's like an elastic band that kind of goes around the case, so you can slide wrap your hand into it. I think they're called like phone bands or something. And even when it's open, you can still slide your hand into it as well, which I liked. I really liked the security of this, just being able to tuck your fingers into the phone, and it's not going anywhere. I did a review of the Love Handle Pro on the Oneplus Open if you're curious about it, but anyway, so that's basically the deal with this particular case. Let me switch cases. So this is the second folio case I got. They're all cheap, by the way. All these cases are like $8, including shipping on AliExpress, and take about 2 weeks to arrive. Material-wise, they're okay. How are they gonna hold up? Probably not that well. They're only $8, but it is what it is. So this is the second case, and its distinctive feature when you see it on the websites is this outside pocket, and there's a little flappy thing in here which you can put credit cards in, and I can show you. So you can put a couple credit cards in like this, and then just slide it in like that. So that's your quick access card, so you don't need to open up your phone and pull it out. This is your usually used card, I guess. Now this phone actually does have 3 card slots inside, and has a window, which I like, for your driver's license for ID. So I do like this a lot. If I could get a Frankenstein phone that mixes various features from each case and has high quality, that'd be great. I'd be all over that. But right now it's just kind of pick your poison. There's also a pocket here for cash, I guess, for a couple bills. I live in New York City, so every now and then you hit the places that only take cash. So it's nice to have cash with you. Now this one has a magnetic flap here to keep it closed. Oh yeah, that's another thing I didn't talk about. This has the Dux case. It has a magnet which kind of keeps it closed. But yeah, I always feel like if I drop it, it's gonna fly open and just hit the ground open. So it's nice to have the security of a magnetic flap here on the end. This magnet is not great either. It's a small little magnet. It's not take very much effort at all. It's just kind of pop it open. But I guess it's better than nothing. It does have a little lanyard hole, so that's kind of nice. If you're above treacherous territory, you can put a lanyard and keep that around your wrist. So if you drop your phone, I mean, if you give it to your kids, you could strap it to the wrist or something in case they drop it. I do like how this leather is a little bit tougher and it does stick out a little more. It just feels like if you hit something that there is a little bit more edge protection. Although this flap is still gonna move, it's still gonna shift, so it's still gonna, it doesn't take very much for this to move, and you're gonna hit your case. So you're still gonna need that front case, that additional front case with this phone. What I don't like about this has the hinge in the middle, unlike the Dux, which has it on the end. It's in the middle. So when you're using it in this mode, it does wrap around. It's just cleaner, and you have more phone to grab, and it just kind of feels better, in my opinion. So I do like it. I suppose you could like just bend this. If there's no crease there normally, you just bend the hell out of the case and wrap it around. But that's only if it's not stuck on the back like this. And these are cheap cases. Like, if you start bending it in random places, I don't think it's going to last very long. So what I didn't like about this particular case, overall it's not bad. I didn't really like this. I love the window. This inner folder is pretty tight, so getting bills and stuff in there is kind of a stretch. It's kind of hard to get in and get it tucked in enough for it to not be in the way. I feel like it's hard to close the phone because there's too much junk in there. This actually, as you can tell, like, I don't have very much in the case, and it's already like too hard to close. I have 2 cards. Not even. I only have 1 card in there, and I have like, yeah, and already, it's not closing very well because it's just too tight at this point. Once you have 3 cards, it's kind of annoying. So this part here should be a little bit thicker so that it just closes better. Even though by default it's going to be a little bit thicker, but you want it thicker so you can put your stuff in, right? So that's the deal with this phone. One thing I do like is that this hole is a circle, so it's easier to clean. You can put your own screen camera protector on, and it's not like the individual cutouts where you got to go in and really kind of dig it out. So that is this phone case. And so let's switch to the last one. So this is the one I'm using now. It's similar to the other one. There's no outside pocket, which makes it thinner. And it has a wraparound magnetic flap, which makes a nice satisfying kind of clunk when you close it. And it's pretty reasonable in terms of strength. It's not perfect, but in terms of accidental droppage or anything, I don't think it's not gonna fly open. It does make it a little bit thicker though. And my one concern is when I'm pulling it out, this flap is always getting kind of moved around, and I just wonder how long this thing's gonna last. I think it's gonna rip at some point, but what are you gonna do? It's only $8. Has the lanyard hole. Has this is a cutout is a circle, not the 3. And besides that, 3 credit card slots and a cash slot. And it's a little bit looser than the other one, so it's kind of easier to get stuff in and out. And it is also a little bit wider here, so that when I put, like, even if I load this thing up with cards, so I load up with 3 cards, like so. It's still, well, okay, let's see, it's starting to open a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not like completely out of control like the other one, and it feels fine. So this is the one I've been going with, and it's been pretty good. I do miss kickstand with these middle ones. I think they want you to just to do this with it, to use the kickstand, which doesn't work. Like if you have any kind of angle, it's just going to slide and fall. It has to be very vertical for it to work. You need like some kind of grip here for the kickstand to work. So I don't know, if you like kickstand, I guess you got to add one on. One thing that took me a little bit to get used to is when you have this wrapped around, the part that wraps around the hinge is just kind of sticks out a bit, and it's a little bit lumpy. It's a little bit clunky. I don't like it at first, but now I kind of got used to it, and it doesn't bother me so much. I think sometimes you just kind of slide slide this over a little more, so I'm exaggerating again, like this. So when you hold it, it's not so lumpy on this end. But then of course it's sticking out like hell on this end. So depending how you type, you maybe kind of go halfway with it and type. Yeah, and there's also a magnet that kind of keeps you can't really tell, but there's a little magnet on the inside which kind of keeps it, tries to hold it open. Can you do that? You cannot do that. Yeah, see, okay, never mind. But so that's the deal with the folio cases. So what do I like about folio cases in summary? I love the credit card slots. I don't need to carry my wallet around a lot of the time. My license, my photo ID, my credit card, and my alternate card that I need for whatever, my ID card for whatever I'm doing, and then a little small pocket for like receipts or cash. Again, you cannot put very much in here because if you do, you can't close. It gets in the way if there's too much stuff here, and you can't close it because there's not a whole lot of room here to have papers. If you do, it's going to just be sticking up like this. So it's a very limited use pocket, but at least it's there. It's nice to have it. I love the fact that when I shoot in selfie mode, it's not in the way of the camera. That is a big win. And I just like the dust protection that this affords. The only way it's going to get in from kind of like the top bottom now. And you probably shouldn't be doing this with the phone. It's much better than nothing. So there you go. That's the folio cases. Each case seems to kind of have pros and cons. I like the window of this. Some people will like the outside pocket for this, and you know the how you want this flap to stay magnetically closed is your choice. Um, so take a look out there. It's really unfortunate there aren't any really high quality cases that are like this. There's some nice cases that do not have a bend here, and then you're going to cover up your phone, and that's, in my opinion, that's not acceptable. But anyway, they're cheap, so if you're thinking about it, give it a try. I actually quite like it, actually. Um, just gotta figure out a way to put a kickstand on this, I think, or some kind of grip. But um, yeah, so there you go. So give it a try, check it out, and let's hope we get more cases. All right, talk to you later. Any questions? Let me know. Thanks. Bye.